city manager to take us through the work session agenda.
You should have in front of you a copy of our 2010 fiscal year audit. And I think you may recall the last time I talked about this. We do this every year. It's due to the state of Georgia at the end of this month, and then after that it goes on to Washington, actually. These things are very important for a variety of reasons, probably the least of which is without a audit, you're ineligible for innumerable grants and so forth and so on, so it's very important. We're fortunate to have with us tonight our city auditor, Richard Waters. He's been doing the audit for the city for some time, and I joke with him all the time because I'm quite sure if he didn't live here and care about this community, he wouldn't do it, because governmental audits are extremely tough. You have to have a number of special certifications and trainings, go to seminars and all that to maintain the credentials to do it. It's a lot of work, and he's one of the few left in the region. So I want to make sure that we keep him, because the alternative is going to be probably somebody from Tallahassee or Jacksonville. There are not many around left that do these things. And as you can tell from looking at what's in front of you, it should be obvious why. They're quite complex. So, Richard, if you'll come forward, this will be an action item. The council will adopt this on the council meeting on April 11th.
Thank you, Mike. Before I start on the details, I want to just say a few things in general. The city, the forefathers, the leaders of the city in the past and in the present had great vision. They got us in the electric business, they got us in the gas business, they got us in the water and sewer business. And because of that, we're one of the few cities around that can offer services. We don't have to cut people, we don't have to cut salaries, we don't have to cut services, we don't have to cut anything. Our utilities pretty much pay all of our bills and allow us to grow. Also put us in a position so that when people outside look at our financial statement, they see a solid, strong city financially, which means we're more apt to get grants, we're more apt to get loans, we're more apt to get things we need for the city to go forward. I also want to say that we have a marvelous staff here. Jimmy Douglas and his staff do a great job on books. Kathy and her staff do a great job on public service and collecting money, and all of our departments are doing a good job. So I'm real proud to be the auditor for the city of Camilla, and just want to say that we all need to be real proud of what we've accomplished here. The audit, let's get started. I'm not going to go very detailed. As you can see, this is a very, very long document. I urge each of you to look at it and look at it and study it and look at it. And if you have any questions, please call me or Jimmy Douglas so that we can answer your questions. We're certainly not going to answer them all tonight. If we went through it in detail and we tried to answer them all, we'd be here till midnight. And I know you don't want to do that. But let's just get started. On page 1 is my audit report. Nothing new there. It basically says the same thing it said for years. The next, and I'm going to go through this very rapidly. The next pages 3 through 16 is what's called a management discussion and analysis. They started in 2003 making management of the city write this to explain the audit as they see it. Was never allowed before 2003. Camilla is very, very lucky. Many small cities don't have this in their audit report. And the reason they don't have this in their audit report, they don't have anybody qualified to write this. Jimmy Douglas writes this, does an excellent job. You know, he's an old CPA, and he knows how to do this. He's got experience in governmental auditing also. So we're very lucky to have this. And like I say, most small cities do not have a management discussion and analysis. I urge you to read it. That's Jimmy's product. It's got a lot of explanatory items in there. But the audit actually starts on page 17 with the statement of net assets. And in 2003, when we had to change the way we audited, we used to just audit on the fund basis. In 2003, they made us start doing the audits in two ways. We had to present everything on the citywide basis and everything on the fund basis. The first 2 pages in the audit are the citywide basis, where we take the entire city and put it together. The rest of the audit report is based on the fund basis, which is each fund pretty much separate: water, sewer, gas, electric, general fund, development authority, whatever. But let's just take a quick look at the statement of net assets. There are 2 kinds of funds. There are governmental activities and business type activities. Governmental activities are the ones that basically run the city: police, fire, public works, that type of thing. Business type activities are the ones that we use to make money: the electric department, the water and sewer department, the gas department, CNS, whatever, airport. So that's the distinction between these two. Let's look over in the total column, just to point out a few quick things. The city's total assets at the end of the year, end of the fiscal year, which was September 30, 2010, was $68 million. For a city with 5,000 people, that is a phenomenal amount. Our total liabilities at that time were $25 million, which means we have a net asset or a net fund balance that we've accumulated over the years of $42,867,000, which $42,687,000, which I think is absolutely marvelous. Let's turn over to the next page. This is kind of the city's income statement for the city taken as a whole. If you look over in the governmental fund, governmental activities column, and the business type activities column, you'll notice that the governmental activities through operations up at the top lost $3,700,000. The business type activity made $7,695,000. You come on down to the bottom, we had transfers from the business activities to the governmental activity of $3,000,009. And after we did that, that meant the governmental activities had a profit for the year of $1,005,000, and the business type activities had a profit of $3,007,000. So we had an excellent year for the year. The city's basic profits, when we combined them, was $5,326,000, which is phenomenal for a city this size. Let's turn the page. These go back to the fund financial statements. These are the governmental funds, general fund, splash, hotel, motel tax, and the development authority. Those are our 4 governmental funds. At the end of the year, they had total assets of $7,500,000, had liabilities of $1,200,000, and fund balance of $6 million. And you say that doesn't sound like what we just went over. The reason being, when you do the government-wide financial statements, you put all debts in. When you do the fund financial statements, you just put current debts in. You don't put your long-term debts in there. So if you turn to the next page, I'm not going to go through it. That's where we reconcile the two. On the governmental fund, we got a fund balance of $6,300,000. On the whole government as a whole, we've got a fund balance of $17,235. Let's turn over to the next page. This is the income statement for the governmental funds. It's showing that we had total revenues of $3,004,000, total expenditures of $6,006,000, and an excess of a deficiency of revenue over expenditures of $3,002,000. After we made the transfers in from the business type activity, we're showing a profit of $689,000 for the year. If you turn the page, I reconcile that back to the profit we showed back on the second financial statement, on the government-wide financial statement. On page 23, this is a required statements, comparison of budget to actual for the year. The important thing is on our revenues, and this is for the general fund, we made $71,498 more than we budgeted. We spent $444,000 less than we budgeted. That's always a good sign. When we collected more and spending less, that's a good sign. The next two are just small budget comparisons for hotel, motel tax, and development authority. Let's go over to page 26. These are the business type activities. This is the balance sheet for the business type activities. You see up at the top: water and sewer, gas, electric, CNS, telecom, solid waste, and airport in the total. At the end of the year, they had assets of $52 million, liabilities of $27 million, and a fund balance of $25 million. They're doing very well. Turn the page and we'll see what the income was for the year. All the funds had income for the year except C&S, and it's getting there. It's getting closer and closer every year. I expect it'll have a profit very soon. And solid waste had a loss of $21,000 only because we transferred too much money out of it, not because they really had one. But anyway, for the year, the business type activities had a profit of $3,742,000, which allowed this city to do a lot of things. And that's profits after they transferred $3.9 million to the general fund. So they really had a profit of about $6.4 million. But that comes off when they transfer to the general fund. Other thing I want to point out on here, if you look over the left-hand column, capital grants and contributions, we have $1,248,000 in capital grants and contributions, and what that is a $931,000 grant we got from the airport and a $316,000 grant, water and sewer grant we got. We also got some other grants I'm going to go over in a minute. Next statement is a cash flow statement. All I'm going to point out here, and you can go through it in detail at a later date, but for the year, the city's cash in the business type activities increased by $1,370,000. That is a tremendous, very positive sign. Like I say before, most small towns, most small cities don't see that happening. All right, let's turn over. Like I said, I'm going very fast. I really urge you to look through this and call me or Jimmy Douglas with any questions you might have. Let's go to page 37. These are the city's financial fixed assets or capital assets. I just want to point out that during the year, this is in the governmental activities assets. After depreciation, they increased $829,000. So we added $829,000 to our assets during the year. Now, a lot of that is streetscape, but a lot of it is just stuff we bought and put in. Turn the page to these are the business type activities, capital assets, and increase for the year is $3,192,000, and that is primarily what we talked about earlier, which is the airport and the water sewer project, but also the new project out of equity has gotten started. We spent about $1 million on that before the end of the year, and that's in here up in the construction and progress figure. So that's where a lot of that's sitting. All right, let's turn to page 42 at the top. Just want to show you that I told you the governmental activities don't show long-term debt, but there they are up there at the top. That's the long-term debt of the governmental activities. We got a capital lease, we got a mortgage, and we got debt to the development authority. Just want to show you that right quick. All right, let's turn to page 47 down at the bottom. The city has about $3 million in restricted assets they cannot use because they were restricted for specific purposes. Either they're restricted for to pay for bonds, restricted to pay for debt, restricted for construction, or in the case of the MEAG, Municipal Competitive Trust up at the top, they're restricted for the creation of power generation in the future. But we have $3,025,780 in cash that the city can't use. Our money, we can't use it except for specific purposes. I've already talked about the construction project out of equity. The total cost of that new project is going to be around $10 million. And at the end of the year, we spent $1,215,000. That's on page 53. All right, let's look at page 58. Mike said that we have to send this audit report to the state by the end of March, and we do. And I'm going to be quite honest about it. I've had this done since January, but I don't send it till the end of March because the state always sends it back with a bunch of questions. During tax season, I don't have time to answer them. So I wait and send it at the last minute, so when they call me back, I'll be out of tax season. But we don't have to send it to the federal government every year. We only have to send it when we provide grants for the year in excess of $500,000. Federal grants, not state grants, and that includes GFA and state revolving loans also. We have not had what's called a single audit. We've not had a single audit in 2 years. I think the last one was 2007. But we have one this year, and that's why this has got to go into the federal government. And it doesn't have to go into July, and it will go in before then. But I just want to show you on this schedule on page 58, the city got $1,646,000 in federal grants this year. Those grants are for housing programs, for water improvement programs, and for airport improvements, and they were the T grants to work on downtown city, the sidewalks and everything, and y'all know how good that looks. But anyway, we spent $1,646,000 of federal money. And like I said, because of the financial strength of this city, we're able to get that. Because they look at our financial statement and they say, you know, we can take a chance on these folks. They're going to be there. They're going to have to spend the money right. The last thing I want to go over, you turn to page 60, this is the special sales tax money. I just want to point out that for the year, we collected from the county $456,408 in sales tax, and we spent it on public safety complex, finishing that up, on public works equipment, and on streets and roads, and $348,000 on streets and roads. And that's really all I've got. Somebody, Mike told me I had 10 minutes, folks. I'm sorry. I need to go that fast.
Now, Richard, I was just going to ask, after going through this audit, it seemed pretty obvious, but with increase in gas and diesel, with all of our police cars, all of our cars that do city business, and diesel for the equipment, and the diesel for the sanitation department is almost double from what we originally had in our budget. So we don't pass on the surcharges to the sanitation department. You know, we have to solve that, so we don't pass it on to the customer. But do you think we'd be okay with our budget that we have this year?
I certainly think you will on the short run. For this year, it's something we need to look at for next year. But this year, the city is financially strong enough to absorb whatever they need to absorb. Like I said, that's something you need to really look at hard next year when the budget comes along. Hopefully, when we do next year's budget, gas be down $2.50. I don't know. Anybody else got anything else?
Well, if the public has any, it'll be available, I guess, in your office or at Kathy's office or city manager's office.
I've got it.
If the public wants to.
You mean the audit report?
Yeah, the public wants to.
I'm going to give Jimmy Douglas about 25 of them.
Okay.
I only got 12 ready for this meeting,
Okay.
but in the next week or so, I'll have 25 up here. And I also give him a blank, which is one he can make copies from, because we have to send out a lot of them to suppliers and to other customers. And he'll have a blank up here. If somebody needs a copy, he can make a copy from the blank. And I'll try to get that up here this week.
Only thing I mention, if you have any questions, like Mr. Waters said, please get directly with him or go through Jimmy Douglas. I'd like to sort all those out before April 11th so that we can have any answers that you may have answered at that time, since we can expedite adopting this for the city.
And I once again urge everybody to spend some time with this. You can learn more about your city with this audit report than just about anything you can do in a short period of time. It will tell you where the money's coming from, where the money's going, and all the notes, read the notes too, because that's not just stuff we have to stick in there. It's just very important information that as city councilman, I feel like you need to have a very good working knowledge of.
Next item on the agenda, we have a normal monthly financial statement for our finance director, Jimmy Douglas.
Well, you still got the audit report in front of you. I would encourage you to read the management's discussions and analysis. It's more in layman's terms and is not as technical. It's got a lot of numbers and percentages that are, but it's a layman's rendition of what the audit statements say. If you got any questions about that, but it's not as technical as the audit report there, but it's got a lot of information that's available. The other thing that I would mention to you, let me be sure I still got it, is in your packet also, with your monthly financial statements, were statements for the September the 30th, 2010 financial statements, which agree with the audit report. So you can look at that, what you've been used to getting, and it coincides with the numbers. It's just condensed versus what there. But you got a copy of that in your package, which is what you were normally getting every month. But I ran one for September the 30th after we posted all of the audit entries. And again, you got your February the 28th financial statements for the month. I know you listen to financial statements about all you want to, but if you got any questions on that, I'll be glad to answer those. And then on the spreadsheets that I sent you, your cash in each fund is there. Not much difference, changes in those. Cash flow is still fairly stable there. And on the sales and cost of sales analysis, pretty much in line with budget and comparative to last year, except for gas. Price of gas is down, so the sales volume is down, and the gross profit percentage is about the same.
You referring to gas, natural gas?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
That's good.
And then the telecommunications, cable, internet, all up a little bit. Pelham cable sales is up a little bit. And Bakerton cable sales is up. Part of that is probably due to the increase in rates that went into effect the 1st of February, I think. Does anybody have any questions of those? And again, my office is upstairs and I'm here. If you got any questions, email me, come by. I'll be glad to review anything on the audited financial statement with you, or my monthly statements, anything that you'd like. Be glad to answer any questions that you might have.
I've got just one quick announcement in other business. As you know, we spent some time and some grant money renovating what is now known as Colby Park. On the left side of 19 as you exit the city. It looks quite nice. We've spent got a lot of sweat equity in that. We've trimmed up trees, removed some trees. We've done some ornamental planting. We paved the driveway in there. put new concrete down for the entrance and exit onto 19. We put, renovated some old street lights we had. We scrubbed them down and primed them and repainted them and put those out there. It looks quite nice, and the use out there at the park is phenomenal. There are a number of people that use that on a daily basis, go out there for a little peace and quiet and have their lunch. We've scheduled the dedication of that park, which I had to go way back in the minutes to find out exactly what the council wanted to do at that time. But the dedication of the park is scheduled for May 19th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the Garden Club is going to be there. They're also going to rededicate their Blue Star Highway plaque. Everyone here, of course, is invited, as is all the public. And for those that don't know, Morris Colby was a distinguished council member for about 25 years here and did a lot of great things for our city and the people of this city. And I think it's certainly an appropriate honor that that park be officially named for him, and we'll have a monument out there so stating. And we'll dedicate that monument on the afternoon of May 19th. Put that there. And, Mayor, that's all I have.
Anyone else has anything else for the work session, council members? No, I declare the work session closed.